Hello, I'm Rico Cavella, and this is your Ageless Body Self-Care Guide, Operations Manual for your body and for your mind. And the title of this session is How to Sustain a Healthy Lifetime Wellness Program. You know, it's one thing to get excited about all the information you're learning from all of our great experts, and I know so many people have gotten started on a wellness program, a healthy eating, healthy exercise program, but they haven't stuck with it. So that's the key, is how can you sustain it? So we have a great guest today, our expert with us. Her name is Jen Beck. She's a speaker, she's an author, a certified lift practitioner, a registered nutrition consultant. And for the past 15 years, she's been working with clients and dealing with chronic conditions and folks that have been struggling with their weight their entire lives across all spectrums. She's worked with kids all the way to 80, up to 80 years of age. So Jen, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Rico. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to have a fun time today. We got this idea, Jen and I got this idea that we would have a session together and give some ideas of how we can help you to actually stay inspired, stay motivated, and actually take all the things you learn and develop your own wellness program. But you got to stick with it for life, or it's not going to do you much good if you just do it for a while and drop out. Right. So I think this is going to be a real beneficial and real helpful session. So we're going to do our best to give you some ideas and things that hopefully will inspire you and motivate you and help you to stick with this wellness program so you can live that healthy, energetic, productive, joyful, long life that we want for you, and I know you want for yourself. So Jen, let's see, how should, I think let's get started. We made up a little outline. So we're going to try and go through some steps here that we think that will be helpful for you to help you to stick with it. So the first one we came up with is, it's really all about your mindset, right? It's all about your belief system and getting clear on what's really important in your life. So give some of your ideas on that, about how to get your mind right and get clear on what's really important in your life.
Yeah, there's a few different things that I think about when it comes to setting goals and starting to make lifestyle changes. One is to be really clear about what your readiness for change is, right? If you are somebody that is living on sugar, fast food, caffeine, and alcohol 24/7, and you go, today's the day, no more. I'm going to overhaul my entire life. No more sugar, no more alcohol. I'm going to work out at the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to bed at 10. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat 100% organic. Chances are you're not going to make it past 24 hours if you make it that long in the first place, right? This is like New Year's resolutions. And, so it really is important to look at, okay, what's my next best step? Where am I at right now? And what can I do to improve by 10% versus 100%? The other thing to think about too, Rico, is really like, why are you doing this? Your motivation for, like, if you want to create lifelong results, you have to create a lifelong motivation. If you want to drop 10 pounds so you can fit into a dress, you will probably drop the 10 pounds, fit in the dress for the wedding or for the event, and then slowly or rapidly shift back to where you were before, which put the 10 pounds on in the first place. So it's really important to be able to have kind of that long-term view and shift our mindset from, I just want to lose weight, or I just want to get out of pain, to, I want to create a lifelong lifestyle of wellness, right? In my mind, I think about, like, I want to create a lifestyle, not a life sentence. A lifestyle of wellness versus a life sentence of disease and misery and fatigue and feeling like junk all the time, right? So part of it comes with the vision of what you want your life to look like. When you're 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, most of us think about what we're having for dinner more than we think about the rest of our lives. But it really is that foundational piece of, like, what are my core values, right? Do I want to be a good grandparent? Do I want to be an engaged parent? Do I want to travel when I'm retired? I was talking with a gal this morning who is in her mid-50s, and she wants to go hiking and camping and kayaking and traveling with her husband. And right now she can go for about 10 or 15 minutes before she's fatigued and she needs to sit down and rest. right? So part of her motivation is that lifelong motivation of enjoying the quality of life versus just kind of existing. So it's what's your vision, and then what's your next best step, so you can be able to start from where you're at right now and then build from there, so you're creating that longevity and the quality of life along the way.
Yeah, that's so good. So what I can add to that is it's really true. You know, first of all, I want to say that I think one of the biggest challenges all humanity we all have, is lack of expectation of what's possible in our life. You know,
Yeah.
we are so much more powerful, and we can achieve so many things. I mean, because you can see it. I mean, you can see that some people have achieved great things, and some people have come back from you know, almost, you know, just really major challenges in their life and what they have achieved. So we know that's quite possible, and we know that you know, from all of our great teachers in the past, and that we are so much more powerful than you think you can. And but we're not
Mm-hmm.
taught that when we're young. We're not taught that we're really powerful and you can achieve great things, and you're here to do great things. So we're not taught that as kids, but that's what we need to teach our children and teach ourselves, that we can achieve great things and we don't have to put up with the way things are. So I think that's the starting point, to realize
Mm-hmm.
that isn't it true that we can achieve great things, whatever you want to put your mind to, that you can achieve. And so I think that's the starting point. And then on your topic thing about you have to know the why you want to do something, and that's something I've been trying to teach, you know, with all my trainings, is that if you have a goal, like you say, to just, I want to lose weight, so I get in. I like your example. If I can get into a dress for a wedding, well, that may work, but it's just a temporary thing, and that's not something that's not your
Right.
core values or something that's totally important. So as you said too, you have to, if you're going to have a goal that's going to be achievable and it's going to be something that you can sustain for a lifetime, it's got to be connected to your core values, what's truly important in your life. So as you said, what's the big why? So the big why, usually, if you drill down and ask why you want to do something, isn't it usually, it'll end up usually being something to do with your family. You want to be a good example for your family, or a good role model, or you want to be, or it's like you say, you want to be around so you stay around and be healthy so you can do things with your grandchildren or your family. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about that, you know, how to really get really clear on what's truly important in your life and what you really are here to do and what you want to achieve.
Yeah, so one of the exercises that I'm kind of notorious for with my clients is drilling down, because, you know, our first go-to is kind of that get me out of pain feeling, right? So I have a gentleman I worked with a couple of years ago, and he had had a heart attack 4 years prior. He had lost 40 pounds. He did a vegetarian diet. He, you know, I mean, dropped his blood pressure, his cholesterol, like all of his numbers were perfectly in line. And over the course of the next 4 years, they all slowly creeped back up because he started going back to the way he was living before. So when we started working together, we really looked at, like, why do you want this? Why do you want to, what do you want out of life, right? And a lot of times the real motivators, like you said, go back to our family, right? What am I missing out on? What kind of relationship do I want to have with my kids, right? Do I want them to be able to travel with me and be able to engage with them? Or do I want them visiting me in a nursing home, wiping my tushy? Right? I mean, it's what's the quality of life that we're having, not just the quantity of life. So it's, you know, a lot of it is like, okay, so I want to lose weight. And why is that important? Well, because I want to feel better in my clothes. Okay, why is that important? Because I want to feel more comfortable in a meeting when I, you know, at work. Okay, and why is that important? Well, because I want to be able to feel, you know, feel successful in my career. And why is that important? Right? And so we keep drilling down, and sometimes it's a 15 or 20 question process about why is that important till we get to the root, right? So there's a gal once that she said, I want to start eating vegetables. Well, why do you want to start eating vegetables? Well, because I know they're good for me. Okay, and why is that important, right? And we kept drilling down, drilling down, drilling down. Well, she's getting older, and at that point, she couldn't walk up the stairs because her knee pain was so bad. And if she couldn't walk up the stairs and all of her bedrooms were upstairs in her home, she would have to move out of her dream home that she finally bought 3 years prior because she wasn't able to function in her home, right? And so then it's a matter of, well, what's more important, living in your dream home or eating a box of chocolates?
Yeah.
Right? So when we really have that clear, and then it's a matter of keeping it top of mind, right? I can't tell you the number of people that set goals in their mind and they never write them down. or they write them down once and then they go into a file folder in their filing cabinet, never to be seen again until the next year when they pull out goals for the year and they go, oh, that's what my goal was for last year.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my new goals, right? And so it is really about getting really to the core of why is it so important for you to make changes? What are those core values? What do you want to create, right? I talk a lot about getting out. It's not about getting out of pain, because when you get out of pain, you go, oh, I'm good. And when we slowly go back to our defaults, right? But when we focus on what am I creating gives you inspiration. You create opportunity. You think about what's possible. You think about how far can I go versus going, I just need to get here and then I'll be okay. And so it really is that opening up of possibilities and then finding out what you want to create and then having it top of mind, right? Have a vision board, have a Post-it note on your mirror, have something that pops up in your calendar each day or each week that reminds you. There's a great little resource that I found called Your Future Self. And so you go to Your Future Self, just Google it on the internet. And when you go there, there's a little questionnaire and you write down, you know, your future self 3 years from now, professionally, family, you know, social activities, all of that. And then it sends you an email once a day. So it's a reminder of all the things that you're creating, because it's so important to be able to have some way of keeping your goals and your passion in front of you and keep it top of mind. So you're consistently working towards that versus just kind of that stutter start of like, oh, I need to do better today. Oh, I need to do better today. Oh, I need to do better tomorrow or this week or next month.
Yeah, so good. Such great information. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, so again, what you should get out of that is that, first of all, you can do it. You can create the life that you want. You know, you can get past your limiting beliefs, and you can create a healthy, much healthier and energetic and functional body for all of your life. But you got to get clear on why you want to do it. As Jen said, she gave you a lot of ideas and resources to do that. So that's the first step, is to realize that you can do it, and that you've got to get clear on why you want to do it. And I just want to add too that here's the thing, you know, science now tells us that our genetic potential is to stay healthy to at least 125. So that means, you know, most people are getting old and sick and dying around the late 70s or 80, you know, so most people are missing out on so many good years that you could be really enjoying your life and making a difference in the world and doing so many different things. And so again, that's what this whole program that we're creating here, the Ageless Body Self-Care Guide, is to help you so that you can stay healthy and energetic for much longer and make a bigger difference in the world and to enjoy your life. So once you have those things in mind, that you have the possibility to live a lot longer and stay healthy, and that you can do it, and there's many people that are doing it, and there's lots of ways that can help you, as Jen was just telling you. So I think that's the first step. And then let's go on to our next thing we came up with was, now you got, once you've got your reason why, and you realize that I can do it, and that you're committed to doing it, you got to get educated on how to do it. And again, that's what this whole Ageless Body Self-Care Guide is all about. And we really recommend that you know, once you begin taking the recommendations of all of our experts in all the different categories that we're offering, it's going to make a big difference in your life. But then you need to stay connected, you know, to them and keep learning. We're always learning so much more about how to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so, so talk a little bit about what you would add to that, about what you need to do how to get educated, in order to, so you really know what you need to be doing.
Yeah, and you know, so much of it, Rico, it's a great point. So much of it is really looking at what your body needs, right? There are so many fad programs and diets and you name it that are out there, yet they don't work, right? If Weight Watchers worked, they wouldn't need a lifetime guarantee, right? You hit your goal weight, but if you ever need us again, come back.
Let me say this on that same point, is that the weight loss industry is over $100 billion a year industry. So you would think if people are spending over $100 billion on all these weight loss foods and programs and all these things, we'd be a nation of trim, lean people, but we're the fattest country on the world, right? So something's wrong there. What's missing, right? obviously
Yeah.
it's not working. So you got to get this whole thing that you're going to go on some weight loss diet and that's going to solve your problem. You have to get that out of your mind and put your attention on creating a sustainable, healthy, energetic body for life.
Yeah, and it is. You're absolutely right. It is. It is. Just forget about the fad diets.
Yeah.
Just forget about forget about the quick fixes. There is no magic bullet. I have a friend of mine that said, he goes, I love the HCG diet. I did that sucker for a month. I lost 20 pounds in the course of a month, and for the next 6 months, I could eat whatever I wanted.
Oh my goodness.
Like, and then he gains it all back, and so he's got
Yeah,
to start over again, right?
right.
So it's not about the quick fix. It's not about the magic bullet or the magic pill or anything else. It is about creating a sustainable way of eating and living, so that you can maximize your energy. Because I mean, here's the thing: when your body is functioning at its highest level, when your cells are all healthy, and instead of being shriveled from dehydration or malnourishment, or you have gut function dysfunction and things like that, when your body is functioning, your body doesn't need to hold on to extra weight, right? It will naturally release it. So you've got all these people that are out there that are trying to manipulate their body into losing weight, and it's like weight is a symptom of the bigger problem.
Right.
So again, it's shifting our mindset of where we've been told we should focus, right? As long as you eat less calories than you burn off, you're fine. And more and more people are realizing that's not true. So it really is about learning what your body needs. So, think about, when I work with somebody, we do an in-depth intake where we're looking at inflammation markers, we're looking at gut health, we're looking at, are you carbohydrate sensitive? We're looking at what your food habits are like now, your relationship with food, your family history. It's all of these pieces that we use to customize what works for them. And then we do their metabolic design assessment on top of that. So now we know how much protein, fiber, and fat they need, and which foods in those categories are their best fuel. So it's not about, like, I'm just going to go do the South Beach diet or the keto diet or, whatever the next one is that comes out. But it really is learning about what your body needs. So when we're piecing that together, the first place I always have people start tracking your food, right? Not micromanaging what you put in your mouth, but looking at your food and then how do you feel an hour or two later? That will start to give you information about what's working and what's not. Most people don't correlate how they're feeling to what we put into our mouth, right? And it's important to look at, like, I am a firm believer in functional medicine because it's designed to get to the root cause, right? What is the root issue? If you fix that, everything else starts to fall in place. One thing a lot of people don't know is something as simple as dehydration, drinking more water is such a critical component for digestion, elimination, detoxification, brain function, joint health, you name it, right? And weight loss. If you're dehydrated, your body will actually store extra weight to try and manage your body temperature. So it's all these little things. If we look at what are the actions and habits that are going to give me the best health, then my body will function at its highest level. And our bodies are designed to heal themselves. We just have to give it the right building blocks and remove the interference so it can do its job.
Right. So good. So here's the point that you should get from what she just said, is that we're all biochemically unique. So even some foods that might be a really great healthy food might be good for somebody can almost be deadly for some people. So even though we all need to improve our aerobic capacity, we need to keep our muscles strong and strength. We need to have a great nutritional program, but it's unique. So what you're listening, what Jen was saying, it's so important to get a coach and get some help. Whether it's a integrative medicine doctor, a naturopathic doctor, a nutritionist, personal trainer, someone to get you started on the right direction that's going to work for you, because you're biochemically unique. So it just makes sense to get some help to get you started. So, coaching now is becoming so popular because it's well known now that having a coach is the surest and fastest and most efficient way to achieve whatever your goals are. Of course, we're talking about health and wellness here. So it's so important to get some help, to get you evaluated like Jen does, and like, there's so many good people out there these days, and just like all of our experts involved in this program that can help you to evaluate yourself and see what's going on, and see what kind of a diet you should be doing, and exercise program, and what your mindset should be in. And it's not difficult. You just got to take the first steps and get started. And it's going to make a huge difference in getting you going, and being able to sustain it. Because what I found, if you can stick with it, once you develop, when you get some help to develop your overall wellness program, if you can stick with it for 90 days, you're going to see so much improvement, right, Jen? And you're going to feel so much better. You're going to look so much better. Then that should give you the motivation to keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, and a lot of times I work with people and we do micro changes or baby steps, right? Because when you take a baby step, looking at working out every single day for the next, 7 days can feel really intimidating if you haven't worked out in the last 7 years. But if you spend 5 minutes a day each day and you don't die from it, your brain goes, oh, okay, it's uncomfortable, but we didn't die. And now you get a little bit more energy and you build a little more strength, and you're like, oh, well, I feel even better. What else can I do? And so you're building that consistent habit, but you're doing it in baby steps at a time. So you're building momentum and gaining success.
Right. So good. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's kind of sum it up here. So what we covered was, the first step is about being clear, about clarity. It's being clear on what's really important in your life, what your core values are, and then you have to tie your goals to your core values, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then the other thing is to realize that we're all so much more powerful than we've been told, and that we need to raise our expectation of what's possible in our life, and that we can do it, and that you can do it. I mean, you can create a healthy, energetic body that's just right for you, and that you're here for a divine purpose. I think most people understand that there's something more than just our physical body here. There's a life hereafter, that we're here to do great things, and that you can do great things. But you need a healthy, energetic, fit body in order to accomplish what you're here to do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're talking, especially when you were talking about how long our lifespan is being extended to. We have a choice. We can either be doing good and living life and thriving and sharing and being an impact on somebody else's life, or we can be sitting in a nursing home essentially waiting to die, right? That's happening with people in their 60s and 70s. And yet we have the opportunity and the ability through science and through longevity and through lifestyle change to be able to really increase the magnitude of impact we have throughout our life and the legacy that we can leave for future generations.
Yeah, absolutely right. And so, again, I know both Jen and I feel the same way. It's so sad to see so people just getting old and sick, and like say, end up in a nursing home, when it's primarily almost always avoidable, with the right mindset and the right wellness program. But we're just not taught these things as we're youth. So that's why this whole program is so important. That we hope you take all these recommendations and teach them to your children as well, so we can create a much healthier, energetic, and productive and joyful life for everybody on this planet. And that's what this is all about. So I don't know what else we can say. Is we know that we're doing it, and we're trying to help everybody else do it as well, and you can do it as well. And so you just got to take the first steps and get started, and you'll be amazed at how much better you feel. Isn't it also, let's say, that so many people go through their life never knowing what it means to be really fit or really healthy, and they just, I guess they just kind of accepted how their life is, but you don't have to accept that. You can do much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think back, like you were just talking about how we don't know what we don't know. And, I lived on, fast food and sugar and caffeine and things like that in my 20s. And I don't know at what point I would have changed, but I had a 2x4 moment when my mom had her relapses, and when she went from living on her own to being in a nursing home in 6 weeks because of her MS, her multiple sclerosis. And I met a gal who had had MS for 26 years, like my mom. And my mom did everything medically. This woman did everything naturally and holistically. So she did diet, supplements, and exercise. And the only issue she had after 26 years of MS is she needed a little stability as she walked across a huge ballroom. And my mom had been walking with a cane since I was 4. So for me, that was a massive wake-up call. And I think sometimes many people wait for that wake-up call moment, whether it's a diagnosis of somebody that they love or they have their own 2x4 moment, as I like to call it, right? Where they get that diagnosis of diabetes or heart disease or cancer. And I just want to encourage you to look at where you're at now in your health and where do you want to be in 10 years? Because most of us never take the time to look at down the road of where we could be, positive or negative. And sometimes we will do more to get out of pain than we will for gain. So look at if your health goes down the same road your parents did, or if your health it continues to decline, before you take a step, then then what do? We can sit in there and just kind of let it happen, or we can take responsibility and start making changes and choices differently. So for me, that was like, it was my wake up call. And then it was a matter of like, oh, shoot, I don't want to go down that road. So what can I do, not only for her, but also for myself, to prevent MS and to prevent, any kind of major disease like that. I think so many times we just kind of, well, this is the kind of my lot in life. This is all, my parents got sick, so it's just the way it's going to be. And it's just not. And so the more we can really think about, our genetics are like a gun, and nutrition and lifestyle is the trigger. The gun is neutral until the trigger comes into play. So by changing the way that you live and the way that you eat, you can have tremendous impact on your, predisposition for certain diseases and be able to prevent those, reverse them.
Yeah, so well said. So I don't know what else can we say. We know that you can do it. We know everybody wants to be healthy and energetic and live a long, productive life. And so the message here is that you can. You just have to, plan for it and say, okay, I'm commit to doing it, and then get educated, and then just begin to implement it. And when you do, again, we promise you that, again, when you take all the recommendations from all of our experts in this program, I promise you, your your health and your wellness, your well-being is going to just go to the next level, and you're going to be so really glad you did. So I guess the only thing we can say is, is Nike's favorite saying is just do it. You just got to do it, and
Yep,
you'll get some
absolutely.
great results. Jen, thank you so much. That was really great. I hope we got everybody inspired and motivated to get out there and do it. Thanks so much.
Thanks.